All right, hello and welcome back to the channel. I have a very interesting video today. Today we are going to be watching some clips from the House Judiciary Committee that was considering the bills on gunmaker liability and the assault weapons ban. But first, I want to go and recognize Representative Dan Bishop, who is being a total boss here. He absolutely dominated this, if you've watched any of it. First of all, his tweet was epic. Jerry Nadler says the quiet part out loud. The purpose of this bill is to ban weapons that are in common use. This flies in the face of the Constitution, and Dems aren't honest enough to admit that they won't stop here. And yes, he essentially did say all that. And I got several clips that I want to show you, so let's just jump right in. And first of all, let's cover the common use weapons. He is going to talk about the Heller ruling and how that impacts and how that references common use weapons.
I think you're a very good lawyer. And to the extent you have
No, I don't think that was a compliment.
You are. No, well, it is a compliment, although you've used your legal skill to obfuscate what the Supreme Court has said in very clear terms. So if you go to Heller, first of all, Heller pointed out that the case to start with was United States versus Miller in 1939, where the Supreme Court talked about what the militia was entitled to use. And it said, ordinarily, when called for militia service, able-bodied men were expected to appear bearing arms supplied by themselves and of the kind in common use at the time.
And this is one of the reasons why common use weapons are protected, because basically that is one of the things that the founders was definitely wanted to protect, was the rights of the common man to have the weapons that were in common use, and so that they could be part of a militia if needed and protect their community, their state, or their country.
It went on to say, Heller did, we also recognize another important limitation on the right to keep and carry arms. Miller said, as we have explained, that the sorts of weapons protected were those, quote, in common use at the time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now wait, this is an important part that's coming up right here from Cicilline.
In McDonald in 2010.
If the gentleman leave, you left out the next sentence. We think that limitation is...
Believe me, we're going to have an opportunity to get to your part about the unusual and dangerous. We'll cover that too, because it's all quite clear. What you suggest that this bill could possibly comply with what the Supreme Court has held in now 3 separate cases.
So he's talking about 3 separate cases. He's talking about is Heller, McDonald, and Bruin. And here's really what Cicilline was wanting to get to, the dangerous and unusual weapons. And in this recent ruling, or in one of the rulings, maybe it was Bruin, I don't know, I can't remember exactly which one. The Supreme Court referenced in this ruling the words dangerous and unusual weapons, and they cited the M16. They cited the M16 and weapons like it. Now, again, this is sort of the sticking point. The Democrats believe that an AR-15 is like an M16. But the problem is that they are not. When the Supreme Court is referencing an M16, they are referencing a fully automatic weapon. And this is a weapon that was specifically used only by the military, available only to the military, specifically for military use. And that is not what... that is definitely not what the AR-15 is. The AR-15 is a weapon. It's a weapon that 20 million of them are in the United States. I don't know how else to say that it's common use. I mean, when you have 20 million of a weapon that's owned and is legally owned by U.S. citizens, that is a common use weapon. Okay, so let's get to this other part. This was New York State Rifle and Pistol Association.
Just several weeks ago, the court wrote, for example, he's talking about Heller. They're talking about Heller. We found it, quote, fairly supported by the historical tradition of prohibiting the carrying of dangerous and unusual weapons, quote, close quote, that the Second Amendment protects the possession and use of weapons that are, quote, in common use at the time.
Okay, again, common use weapons. So that's a pretty interesting one. Now, there was a part in here that happened, and I cannot find it, but apparently this happened earlier in the meeting. I've been looking for it, but I just haven't been able to find it because this is 11 hours long, and so it's very hard to find any specific clip. But I do know that this clip exists on another channel. So let me go to that channel, because this is where Jerry really activated boss mode. And let's just go to that video here. Okay, this is Langley Outdoors Academy. I like this channel. This is a good channel, and I think this guy's name is Brandon. Anyways, he does a good job of covering this as well. He had this quote, and so I'm going to his channel, and if you want, you can find the assault weapons ban dealt a death blow in Congress. The best anti-gun trap ever video on his channel, and please definitely go and watch this, as this indeed is epic. So let's just listen in.
Let's speak on the amendment.
Gentleman is recognized.
I would like to yield to anyone on the other side who would dispute that this bill bans weapons that are in common use in the United States today. Would anyone on the other side dispute that this bill would ban weapons that are in common use in the United States today?
Would the gentleman yield?
I would, for an answer to that question.
Yeah, that's the point of the bill. Yeah, that's the point of the bill. Yeah, that's the point of the bill.
That this bill would ban weapons that are in common use in the United States today.
Yeah, that's the point of the bill.
That's the point of the bill. and Brandon does a great job of covering this too. His reaction is just like mine. He's like, I can't believe you just said the quiet part out loud. So that is what Dan Bishop was referencing in his tweet, where he says Jerry Nadler says the quiet part out loud. The purpose of the bill is to ban weapons that are in common use, and that flies in the face of Heller, McDonald, and Bruen.
With what the Supreme Court has held in now 3 separate cases is absolutely absurd. You defy the Supreme Court of the United States in the same way the Democrats mounted massive resistance to Brown versus Board of Education. So we're going to explain that for the American people in the course of this hearing. The Democrats of the 1960s are the Democrats of the 2020s, once again.
Savage mode activated. The Democrats of the 2020s are the same as the Democrats of the 1960s. This guy, he's up there and he's giving them hell. Good for him. He's telling it like it is, and I really appreciate this. So he's not sugarcoating anything, and he's obviously pointing out the flaws and the holes in the logic of the Democrats here, and that is that they are going to focus on these specific words of dangerous and unusual weapons. That's because they consider the AR-15 to be somehow a dangerous and unusual weapon. But again, when the Supreme Court is referencing that, they're specifically referencing M16s and weapons like that. And what they're referencing there in particular is fully automatic weapons that were made specifically for the military. The AR-15 was never made for the military. The AR-15 has never been a military weapon. The AR-15 is a semi-automatic weapon. That only means that you pull the trigger once and you get one bullet out. For people who don't know that, that's what it means. Most of the people watching, you know that, but for some reason, people think semi-automatic sounds scary. It sounds like one of these spray and pray fully automatic Uzi machine guns, and that's not what these guns are. You know that. But anyways, what do you think? Did Dan Bishop really serve it up to the Democrats here in the House Judiciary Committee? In my opinion, he did. If you like this content and you want to keep smashing the narrative, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. Let's keep going because we are just getting started. I'll see you on the next video. Have a great evening.